So they finally announced the release date for the Mass Effect Legendary Collection, which is the remaster of the original Mass Effect trilogy. It's coming out in May 14th, which is like a week after Resident Evil Village. It's kind of funny because while you have the internet going crazy over Lady Dimitrescu, is that her name? The big, sexy, 9'6", big boob, big booty vampire lady. Well, you have the whole internet, male, female, and everyone in between and around, upside down, whatever. You have all these different genders going nuts over her, to the point where there's all these memes of people talking about how Capcom has to go back and change the game because she's probably just like one of the first early bosses in the first few hours, and then she's going to be dead and you'll never see her again. So now, because she's taken the internet by storm, there's this whole like joke about how she's going to be inserted in every part of the game. They're going to just redo the whole game in the next month or two to make sure there's more of her in it. So while Capcom is trying to give us more Lady Dimitrescu, if that's her name, sorry if it's not. Meanwhile, the cucks and soy boys at Bioware are actually censoring Miranda Lawson. And I don't use cuck and soy boy lightly. I think it's it's the kind of alt-right insults. And I'm super hard left. I'm not post-left. I'm just a leftist. But not to get into that. But I am in agreement with this whole moral, being against moral panic and anti-SJW in the sense that it's not about society and improving society and improving lives for everyone. It's this pettiness where every little thing has to be attacked. And it's probably a reaction to the fact that they can't change anything in the real world, so they just go and jump into everybody's fandoms and everybody's business and try to control that. And there is just this section of women and men who hate the idea that straight men love sexy, shapely women. Just because you appreciate the female form, even if it's fictional, it's got to be taken, the response to that has to be taken to the ultimate, most exaggerated level. It's just incels and abusers who love sexy women. So you can't give them that because they're going to think that they can control women outside of video games. I don't know. I don't want to get that heavy and deep about it, but that's really, what bothers me about this whole censorship deal with the remake, because we don't have to be treated like children. Men and women, as I already said, and all the other genders love the series. Nobody, when it was announced, nobody said, boy, I really hope they do something about how sexy Miranda is, and I hope they don't show her butt as much as they did in the first game. Not the first game, but sorry, in her first appearance when the first version came out. Nobody cares. They make more of an issue of it by trying to appease people who don't play the games, who are not consumers of the games, who just want to inject themselves and take away from other people just because, they want to be assholes. They hate it. I was just, I was just looking at a video where these people were mad that Zack Snyder gets to have his Snyder Cut of Justice League released. And I'm not even a Snyder fan. I think he's a great visualist, a stylist. I think my favorite films of his are 300. I kind of like certain things about Sucker Punch. I don't really fight anyone. Because I like, is it Dawn of the Dead? I like that too. But what is it? I think her name is Maggie Mae Fish. There was some YouTuber who really kind of broke that down and kind of tore it to shreds in a way to where I can't appreciate it like I did. Because she really pointed out some stuff. But yeah, anyway, so these people were mad at Snyder getting the release of the Snyder Cut. Just because they're like, all his fans and all his, acolytes are going to be happy that he gets to release his cut. Like, what's fucking wrong with that? Can you imagine, you're a fan of I don't know, Kelly Reichardt or oh God, what's her name? Celine Sciamma, two of my favorite directors, both women. Like, Portrait of Lady on Fire. So Sciamma, that's how you pronounce her name. Sorry, I'm all over the place. But she's making Portrait of Lady on Fire, and something bad happens, so she can't finish it. And then they hire, I don't know, Snyder to finish it. And it messes up the original vision and the flow and reception of it. And so she comes back and says, hey, I want to get, my original cut. And all of her fans who appreciate it, whether you agree with it or not, say, I want to see what the original vision was. I want to see, my, my anticipation for this film was based on this one particular filmmaker's vision, and it's been compromised. Even if you like the other guy who worked on it, we see how it came out. It sucks. I'm not happy with it. Give the guy who started it a chance to correct it. Why would you want to take that away from somebody? Like I said, I'm not a big Snyder fan. I think that he fucks up films because he's not a deep thinker. When it comes to story, Watchmen, he messed up Watchmen. I might do that. My brother wants me to be really scripted and really thoughtful and articulate. And I'm going to have to take some time to look at something that I think is worth talking about. And maybe Watchmen is one of those things that I might eventually get to one day. I actually like a lot about it, but there are things that piss me off. But I need to get in a place in my head where I can be more focused and controlled before I do that. Right now, I just want to be off the cuff and then just sort of ramble and rant for a while to get some things off my chest. So I don't even know what I first started saying. This is why I probably should have a script. But I know I'm annoyed about Miranda's buttocks being deflated in some way. I don't know how bad it's going to be, really. Ultimately, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and get the remaster. And, if I want to see her butt for whatever reason, I'm sure you'll still see it in the game. They can't change it too much because that's just how she is. Like, every time you see her, she's just built. But I could play the old games if I want to, and I can always see, YouTube clips. But I don't want to be pandered to. I don't want to be messed with. And so it irritated me when I saw this little bit last night on Twitter. I guess it's part of an interview. And the interviewers at some point was asking one of the leads or the people who were remastering this game. It was like, it's not just the technology that has aged in the original games, though, as it's hard to imagine the Asari, a species of all-female space Amazons, or EDI's or EDI's robot form being created in quite the same way for a new game today. It's like, why? They are popular characters, though. They really are, despite accusations of them pandering to a male audience. So we were curious as to whether there was any thought to alter their portrayal in the remasters. Can you imagine if they really went that far and altered them and gave them flatter chests and less curves? And I don't mind all shapes and sizes of women. I don't mind different shapes, rather. But it's like, we're not children. You don't need to protect us for anything. You don't need to protect people who don't care about these games from other people enjoying them. This idea that pandering to the male gaze is the worst thing you could do. But anyway, so the interview ended up about, not the interview, but this part. So we were curious as to whether there was any thought to alter the portrayal in the remasters. And then whoever this guy is, who's part of it, the remastering project, goes, I do think a lot of things have evolved since the original games, but I don't know if I would say we were ultra concerned about it or anything like that. But there were considerations, admits Walters. Kevin actually called out some camera cuts that were just, why was that focusing on Miranda's butt? So, in some cases, we said, okay, we can make a change there, but ultimately, to change an entire character model, and then he goes on to some other bullshit nobody wants to hear. And it's like, you dumb cuck, just leave the game alone. Can you imagine Yoko Taro going, why was that camera focusing on 2B's butt? Why is A2's hips rocking it like that? I mean, if anything, he'd be like, why isn't the camera on 2B's butts? I get, that was a Freudian slip, but butt so big. But, yeah, so it's just insulting and annoying and irritating. It's like, just leave the game alone, improve it, and then go on about your business. So that's basically it for this. It's just, I wanted to complain a little bit about the slippery slope. It's one of those things, though, where after the next game, if Mass Effect 4 comes out and it's not super sexy or whatever, I don't know if I'm going to be too devastated about that, because it's nothing that's going to be changed. Like, I have my memory of the first games for the original trilogy. So I don't want that fucked up for dumb reasons. But if they want to go forward and not have super sexy women, it'll be kind of boring and like whatever, maybe. But I'm not really opposed to if there's a different vision and a different approach to it. But the original trilogy is big and dumb, fun, it's sexy, it's wild, it's crazy, it's silly. You know, it's dramatic, it's sometimes it's epic. It's got this, smorgasbord, it's this, great cornucopia. And you don't have to water that down. All the people are excited about this game. Just like all the people, like I said, all these people are excited about Big Mama from Resident Evil Village. Like, this moral panic is not necessary. And they'll pander to people who are not their audience, and then they'll punish their audience to pander to the people who are not their audience. Whoa! But, yeah, I don't know. I think that's about it. Excited for the game to come out. I got a ton of other ideas that I want to get to at some point, but I'll kind of get a little bit more focused and a little bit more polished as the months go on. But, we won't worry about that now. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, even if you want to call me out for being an incel. That's fine. It's all good. Take care.